This is Boxing Loco's corner. He's crazy. He doesn't know shit about boxing. He's crazy.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Bravo, aka Boxing Loco, and we got Boxing Nuke here.
What's up?
So, I've been reading through all the comments and a lot of people talking shit, and I make fun of them. all the comments and all the questions on there. So I decided to make a post today. We didn't get that many questions, but let's get to them. Always Ed B says, I have a question. Can you make a video with a basically counter on the latest Canelo video? Because all I kept hearing was basically.
Well, basically the problem with that was I was rushing it a little bit. I was just so eager to get my point across that I kind of basically it up a little bit too much. But I appreciate that feedback. I'll tighten it up.
Frankie Gallego says, why you gotta be so unbiased for? IBFP, #facts.
You know, that's 100% truthful, and I'll tell you this. Unfortunately, I gotta be unbiased because I'm not like those bitch-ass new media channels.
Oh, damn. He said it. You heard it here. IBN Shafiq says, what up, Bravo? What's up, man? What's your opinion on DSG's so-called G-check on Crawford's offer? Does this mean DSG is going to give Crawford a date? ... Probably not.
Now, I guess in regards to that, I think Danny Swift Garcia may give Terence Crawford a date. He may take the fight at some point. Right now, it looks like he's ducking. Even though he responded, when he responded, all he came back and was basically saying, if you didn't talk to Al, you didn't basically make an official offer. But he never denied the fact that Top Rank reached out. He never denied the fact that Top Rank made an offer to his father. So basically, presuming everything holds true, he still pretty much is ducking Terence Crawford. Nothing's changed. I hope he makes the fight. I hope he reaches out to him. But as of right now, it looks like he doesn't want any smoke with Terence Crawford.
There's your answer with a few basicallys in there. Damn, this is a long one. We'll leave that one for last.
All right.
Ricardo Lopez says, what's your top 10 pound for pound right now?
That's tough because a pound for pound is so subjective because it's basically on what style you like, what kind of fighter you like, everything that you favor. So what I'll say is, I mean, I can give you a couple of my pound for pound fighters, and I'll probably just release a video about our top 10 pound for pound. But once again, it's subjective, so your list could be very different from mine. And then I'll just give you a few fighters, basically Canelo Alvarez, and he can be number 1, he could be number 2 or number 3. In no particular order: Canelo Alvarez, Mikey Garcia, I'll say Terence Crawford, Anthony Joshua. And and that's just to name a few, but I'll definitely give you guys a pound for pound list. But once again, it's subjective and it's subject to change, basically fight by fight.
Okay, this is just a little preview of the last question, but you wouldn't put Lomachenko in the top 10?
Lomachenko, I'll put him in the bottom of the top 10.
Oh, damn. Alright, Commander4465 says, what made you start a YouTube channel?
Basically, when you look at boxing, I'm a lover of boxing, an avid boxing fanatic. So when you look at boxing, especially the landscape and YouTube and even like ESPN and all the media platforms, basically no one's giving you unbiased content. Somebody's always fanboying for someone, or someone's always hyping someone. A prime example of that is, I feel like Vasyl Lomachenko is a very good fighter, but I feel like he's been hyped a little bit too much. And so since that's the case, I feel like ESPN is not giving it to us the way it should be. And then you have all these biased fake new media channels only fanning for certain fighters, the Errol, Spence, or PBC fighters. So it's not giving everybody a real, unbiased, authentic look at, what everybody's doing and how good the fighters are.
Okay, so let's go to the second to last question then. Why you hate on Spence so hard? It's laughable. Like, he can't fight, and you give Mikey props for what? He is a quitter. That's from Fred Thomas.
Fred Thomas, I appreciate your question, but to respond to you directly, you don't know shit about boxing.
Oh, damn.
And I'm going to tell you why you don't know shit about boxing. Mikey Garcia is not a quitter. He's an undefeated 4-division world champion, soon to be 5-division world champion. I don't hate on Errol Spence. I think I just recently released a video even giving him big props, favoring him to beat Kell Brook in a rematch. So I think Errol Spence is a very talented fighter. He's a very good prospect, but I think at the same time he's unproven, untested. That doesn't mean I dislike Errol Spence Jr. If Errol Spence Jr. comes in and beats Mikey Garcia, I give him all the credit in the world. I'd applaud his effort and say he's an elite top 5 fighter if he does that. I have yet to see him in there with a type of champion such as Mikey Garcia with that skill set. And since the little bit that I have seen of him in regards to Kell Brook and these other fights, Carlos Ocampo, he's pretty much fought a lot of tomato cans. He said his best fight was Chris Algieri, even though he fought, Kell Brook. So when you see a guy that says things like that, you can't take it serious, and you see Errol Spence get hit way too much. So to be an elite level fighter, you expect to see a certain array of skills, and I'm just not seeing that from Errol Spence. But he can still prove me wrong. But I don't hate on Errol Spence. I gave him props. He has elite punching power, and I think he's a good fighter. But we still need to see him prove it.
Okay. Just to put it on record, Boxing Loco is a Spence fan. So, wait, is that me? Oh, here's another one. Jason C says, "Will you eventually do live streams?"
Absolutely. I think live streams are eventually going to come. Towards the end of the year, beginning of next year, you'll see more live streams, and even as the year progresses on after the new year, at some point you'll start seeing footage from fights. From going to the fights, you'll start seeing more as basically the IBFP expands and grows. We want to do live streams, we want to go to fights, we want to do interviews, and then we want to challenge this biased commentary face to face.
We're growing, man. Just like any other business, it takes some time to get it started, get it up from the ground. So we're growing, and we're going to do bigger things. We had to test it to see if it was going to work out, and I knew Boxing Nuke had all the knowledge, so we're making this thing happen. And our website, we're working on the website. So, last question. No, second to last question, because I left the other one for last. Curious, which of Mikey Garcia's opponents beats Kell Brook, or even Lamont Peterson? But before you answer that, there was somebody that answered. That was from Santiago Castro. 8525 Sully answered, Santiago Castro, I got this one. None, because they all fight in a lower weight class, so it's Mikey's first time to test the waters at that weight, and you'll find out if he's great or not. I think he gets it done.
Well, that's a great question, and that's an even better response. I applaud both of you guys, and I'll tell you this. Basically, Mikey Garcia, I believe he gets it done as well. But to answer the question, I guess in my own words, we can possibly find out. On March 24th on FS1, Lamont Peterson fights Sergey Lipinets. Sergey Lipinets' only loss came to Mikey Garcia. He's moved up to 147 pounds from 140 pounds. So we're going to see basically Lamont Peterson, who was beat by Errol Spence, face a Sergey Lipinets who was beat by Mikey Garcia. So we're about to be able to see this in March, on March 24th on FS1. So we're about to find out in a direct answer to that right now.
All right. So last one, the long one from Gentile Uprising. I've got a question for you, brother. I usually agree on most things with you, but no offense, I just can't believe you don't take Vasily Lomachenko as a serious pound-for-pound fighter. In my opinion, he's in the top 5 today. He's dismantled top-level opponents before, like Charlatan Pirapinho. He had, this is in parentheses, he had 50 wins and 1 loss and 48 knockouts when he fought him, and Lomachenko dropped him and outclassed a knockout artist fighting him with one hand after his left hand got injured during the fight. And then in parentheses, he outclassed and outperformed Nicholas Walter, parentheses, who knocked out and destroyed Nonito Donaire and Vic Darshinian, and was one of the most feared and hyped boxers, in parentheses. He outclassed and outperformed Guillermo Rigondo, parentheses. You can't say it was his size and strength that defeated Rigondo, because it was a technical bout where Lomachenko humiliated him and made him quit in his corner, in parentheses. He outclassed the fastest boxer in the world, Gary Russell Jr., and hurt him badly throughout the fight. He also defeated Oscar Valdez in the Olympics. It's true he lost to Salido, but Salido is a warrior, and he's not a bum. He had over 60 fights and used every trick in the game to distract Lomachenko that included punching below the belt, and Lomachenko just couldn't beat him. There's no excuse, but all the legends have lost in their careers, and you can't define greatness based on your undefeated streak. Look at Muhammad Ali's record, or Mike Tyson and George Foreman's record. They lost many times to bums and are still legends of the sport. That's true. I'm Mexican-American, so am I. And I truly believe that Lomachenko has faced tougher opposition than Mikey Garcia. But Garcia has taken more risks than Lomachenko, and I doubt Lomachenko could move up in weight. He got dropped in the Linares fight, so it's not a good idea to move up anymore. I'm sure Lomachenko versus Garcia is a war, but Vasily wins in my honest opinion. How can you not respect Vasily Lomachenko? His style of fighting is really something special. His speed, his accuracy, his head and body movements and foot movements are amazing. You can't base his record off the Linares fight. That's not even the best fighter he's ever fought. I think you should look into Lomachenko more, and I'm sure it will change your opinion. Anyways, I still love your channel. Boxing Loco is a fan of Lomachenko.
Oh, that's an excellent question, and I appreciate that. That was from Gentle Uprising, right?
Yeah.
Gentle Uprising, thank you for the question, man. And, you know, unlike a lot of these biased, fake new media channels, you know, we if you don't agree with the point or anything like that, I still respect it. And you know what? If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Eventually, Vasily Lomachenko is going to fight someone, and it's all going to come out. If he's really just the best there is, he's supposed to be number one. It's going to present itself, and then when that day comes, I'll gladly eat crow. I give him all the credit in the world because I don't want to come in that with a bias. I have nothing against Vasily Lomachenko, and to be 100% honest, I think that he's a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. I think in the world, he's one of the best fighters in the world, and I think he's done a great job. And the reason why I think that he's just a touch overhyped and why I don't believe he's better than Mikey Garcia or he can beat Mikey Garcia is nothing about his skill set. I think his skill sets are elite, and I think that he could challenge Mikey Garcia and even potentially beat him. But the reason why I favor Mikey Garcia is that if you look at Mikey Garcia and Jorge Linares, when you look at Jorge Linares, he basically knocked down Vasily Lomachenko with a straight right hand. Imagine if Mikey Garcia does that, Vasily Lomachenko doesn't wake up. That's the difference here. And then Mikey Garcia is so much better of a boxer that he's going to be able to hit him more often with that exact same shot over and over and over again. We understand that Mikey Garcia is basically a power puncher at 135 pounds. No one really looks at, you know, Jorge Linares like that. Jorge Linares has already lost multiple fights. I do think that Vasily Lomachenko is very talented and elite, but I think he just needs a little bit more, because you can't come in with a loss on your record and you have less than 20 fights and expect to be number one pound for pound in the world. Ask yourself this question. If Terence Crawford had one loss on his resume, would you rank him number one in the world? I don't think many people would. If Anthony Joshua had a loss on his resume at this point, would you rank him anywhere in the top 5? Even if you look at Saul Canelo Alvarez, he had to bounce back and redeem himself from the Floyd Mayweather loss. So since he's beaten Triple G, since he's basically moved up a division, since he's fought the best, such as a Miguel Cotto and Idris Landilata, he's fought these top names in top opposition. He's proven to the boxing world that he is elite, and he shows that he goes and fights the best in the division. A lot of people said he would never face Triple G. He fought him and won. So at this point, you can rank Canelo number one. You can rank Mikey number one. It's so subjective. But what I will say is I felt like Mikey Garcia, Canelo Alvarez, I felt like these guys have proven so much more than Vasily Lomachenko. And it's mainly because they've been professionals longer than Vasily Lomachenko. So Vasily Lomachenko's fight upcoming with Jose Pedraza, depending on how he wins that fight and he unifies another belt, he can potentially move up in our pound rankings.
So, bonus question, and this is coming from me.
Sure.
Who's your number one pound for pound?
Number one pound for pound is so subjective, and I think it changes daily for me. I have Terence Crawford most of the time. And by the way, that's the same number one pound for pound that Vasily Lomachenko said was number one. But on days I don't have, Terence Crawford, I have Canelo Alvarez. Other days, especially if Mikey Garcia wins this fight, I have him. So it's pretty much between Mikey, Canelo, Terence Crawford, and I think Anthony Joshua is a strong number 2 to any of those guys. He just needs one more signature win before I can even put him in that category. If he beats a Wilder or a Fury, then I'll put him up there with those guys.
Who do you think AJ is going to fight next?
It depends on who wins this fight and Wilder and Fury. If Wilder stops Fury, or if Fury stops Wilder, whoever wins, if the other guy doesn't want to, execute a rematch, then I can see Anthony Joshua fighting either one of them. It just depends on who wins.
All right. Well, that's everything. Next time, hopefully, we get more questions, more comments, and then we're going to do this more with the live streams too. So be on the lookout for that. That's all we got for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned to the IBFP.